G'day, fuckheads! We don't often check out the lore of non-first founding Space Marine chapters, so you know that when we do, it's gonna be good. Warhammer 40k is full of massive assholes. We have pretentious assholes, communist assholes, Nazi assholes, angry assholes, and now I present the asshole assholes. The Marines Malevolent's catchphrase is, "Innocence does not exist, only degrees of guilt," which is what they use to justify their many war crimes. To add to this, their war cry is, "Hate is the surest weapon." I honestly think these guys would make a pretty fun political party. They are despised by the entire Imperium, only not disbanded or declared renegade because they're too goddamn effective, putting them in a similar category to the Angry Marines. These guys are arch nemesis to the Salamanders, to a point where Tushan once dropped a Malevolent captain with a fat right hook, without even first declaring an honor duel. That's right, the leader of the chapter of Marines known for honor and hugs punched their captain in the face. Before we get started, we have just passed 69,000 subscribers, which is very epic. Chuck us a lamau in the comments below and slap like for this milestone. We won't hit it again until 690,000 subscribers, so maybe sometime in July. To celebrate this, I'm doing a catatonically drunk stream on YouTube this Friday, 10 AM Washington DC time, 3 PM UK time, or midnight Australian time. This won't be a basic bitch, I'm having 3 beers, ooh, I'm taking shots, cocktails, and death. Hell yeah. Legend of Total War will also be joining us for a bit, so come on down. Today we'll look at who the Marines Malevolent are and what they're currently up to. We'll also look at various ways they've pissed off important factions in the Imperium, and what are the consequences of doing that. On top of that, we'll also have a peek at the origin of their very questionable gene seed, and who it might have come from. Although them being bitter, passive-aggressive assholes that no one likes, it's not too hard to figure out who might have been their daddy. Let's get into it. When the Horus Heresy ended, there was various divisions of the Space Marine legions into chapters. These were separated into different foundings, so after 10,000 years we have around 1,000 Space Marine chapters, with an extremely broad variety of personalities and methodologies. This ranges from heroic and noble, to autistically violent, all the way down to zealous retards. In an epic way, of course. The Marines Malevolent are one of these chapters. Now you could say that the fact that no one actually knows their numbers, successor chapters, founding period, homeworld, chapter master, or even Primarch indicates that the chapter are masters of stealth and secrecy, surpassed only by the unfalteringly loyal Dark Angels. But I think it's purely because no one gives a fuck and would rather not think too much about the Marines Malevolent. Their first bit of notable action was during the Majorkill Heresy. Basically, a really solid Imperial commander took 1,000 worlds for the Imperium and then died of Nurgle-induced AIDS. Well, he died from an Imperial assassin, but the AIDS would have claimed him eventually. Instead of honouring his memory by protecting those worlds, his top 7 commanders decided that they would all break away from the Imperium and all try to take the 1,000 worlds for themselves. Fair play, I guess. I would have thought like at least 3 or 4 of those commanders would have stayed loyal, but all 7 betraying. Damn, Majorkill needs to pick up his subordinates better. A number of Space Marine chapters who took a part in the initial crusade now found themselves stuck in the bitter civil war. Some of them went renegade, some used the chaos to attack other Marine chapters that they had a feud with, whilst others remained loyalists and tried to restore Imperial control. The Marines Malevolent were like, fuck it, and just attacked whoever they felt like needed attacking, although these targets were usually enemies of the Imperium. One of these targets, however, was the Star Phantoms, who were actually also loyalists. Eventually, through a bit of a misunderstanding, the loyalist fleet of the Star Phantoms blew up a lot of Marines Malevolent and nearly wiped out the entire chapter. Usually this would result in the Star Phantoms being detained, exterminated, or sent on a penance crusade. But due to how hated the Marines Malevolent were, the Inquisition instead just gave them a slap on the wrist. See, the Inquisition thinks that the Marines Malevolent are too extreme with their measures and cost too many civilian lives. That's right, the organisation that blows up entire loyal planets for shits and giggles thinks that the Marines Malevolent are too extreme in their disregard for human life. To make matters worse for the Marines Malevolent, all their armour and battle gear is really old and shit, dating back to the end of the Horus Heresy. This is because the Mechanicus also really fucking hate them, and they refuse to supply them new gear. This was the main cause for the Marine Relevant's next conflict. A Mechanicus Forge ship had become derelict and was now floating through space. 2 chapters answered the call for aid. Firstly, the scary black men of the Salamanders arrived to search for survivors and see who they could save. Then the Marines Malevolent came as they wanted to plunder the remains of the ship for weapons and armor they could use. The issue with this is that technically the ship still belonged to the Mechanicus, as did its contents, hence the Marines Malevolent were low-key stealing from their ally. Not that they really gave a fuck, but the Salamanders did. The Salamanders had more warriors and firepower, hence the Marines Malevolent yielded and allowed the Salamanders to claim everything. In secret, the Marines then followed the Salamander ship, which eventually crash-landed on a nearby planet. The Marines Malevolent said they would only rescue the Salamanders if they gave them back the gear. This was the first incident between the 2 chapters, but boy was it not the last. The Third War of Armageddon was a bit of a spicy war. I mean, the planet itself is called Armageddon. Expecting there to be no war there would be like expecting a Space Marine chapter called the Marines Malevolent to not have or show a wish to do evil to others. The Marines Malevolent deployed on the planet to help the defenders. There was an incident. Well, there was like 100 incidents, but the main one was when the Greenskins attacked a refugee camp. Instead of defending the camp from the attack, the Marines let the Greenskins enter the camp, and then when they're all bunched up and attacking the refugees, the Marines fired their whirlwind rockets at the camp. These rockets are full of shrapnel, hence most of the people died from the explosions. Hey, you can't say it wasn't effective, all the orcs died. This once again brought the negative attention of the Salamanders. Tushan confronted Captain Vinviar and knocked him on his ass for it. The Marines would then go on to be a reasonably behind the scenes force for the next little while. Most Imperials refuse to work or fight alongside them, and they're a bit of a meme, hence Games Workshop has aimed to keep them out of main storylines. They have recently re-emerged with the return of Gullymen, however the fact that no one likes them means they weren't given Primaris reinforcements, so it looks like they may have stolen them. In a recent short story, a small Imperial fleet is travelling to drop off Primaris Marines as well as the gene tech required to create them to various Marine chapters. They get attacked by Tyranids, hence the Custodians in charge teleport to a nearby planet with the gene tech and take it to the top of Volcano, where they then spend over a month fighting off an unending horde of Tyranids. The Marines Malevolent arrive and fight off the Tyranids and find one remaining Custodian alive, grievously wounded but still standing. It was Henry Cavill himself. All the gene tech was still intact. Knowing the Marines, they probably just let the Custodian die and then took all the gene tech for themselves, however it really depends on the Custodian. I don't think they would attempt to kill him as they are fundamentally loyal to the Emperor, although this is Warhammer 40k I suppose, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's how it all went down. I honestly think the Marines Malevolent were Games Workshop's attempt at a homebrew chapter, not because they're poorly made or cheap, because they're so unique and entertaining. Loyalist assholes are fun, because that's where anti-heroes reside. While I don't think we will hear much from the Marines Malevolent for a little while, it would be good if some of their details as a chapter emerged. Maybe not who their Primarch was, although it's probably this guy, but stuff like their homeworld or who their chapter master is could be good. Hopefully this video brings attention to these guys, they deserve it. And that does us for today guys. A bit of a shorter one today, but I am a-okay with that. I actually have a lot of fun looking at non-first founding chapters, or even homebrew chapters, because of how unique they can be. If you have any other chapters you guys want me to check out, then let me know in the comments below. I've got an animated project I'm working on that basically pays homage to these kind of chapters and to the community, as it highlights their favourite homebrew chapters that I hope to get to you guys soon, so keep an eye out for that. I'll be putting regular updates for that on my Patreon. If you want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be. Only $1 gives you access to a boatload of Warhammer hentai, as well as a discount to the upcoming Warhammer hentai calendar I'm creating. That's right, I've commissioned 12 artists who are in the process of making our very own world first Warhammer hentai calendar. Fuck yes. Join the Discord for more memes, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.